But even if a bunch of scientists believe something, that doesn't make it true. There was a time when the scientists thought the planets go around the Earth. I'm not against schools, I'm not against teachers, and I'm not against science. I think in science class we ought to be teaching science. You know, things that we can observe and test and demonstrate. A lot of teachers don't seem to understand it is perfectly fine for you to teach creation science in a public school. There has never been a law against it. Supreme Court said in 1963, it is certainly, maybe said, the Bible is worthy of study for its historic and literary qualities. Nothing we said, in talking about the decision, says you can't teach the Bible. It's not against the First Amendment to teach the Bible in a public school. In 1980, the Supreme Court said, the Bible may constitutionally be used in an appropriate study of history, civilization, ethics, comparative religion, or the like. Eighth Circuit Court ruled 1980, you can use the Bible if it advances the student's knowledge and appreciation of our religious heritage. They've got no business making us pay for their religion to be taught. Well, if nobody created it, how did it get here? The devil knew this was going to be hard to get folks to believe, so he thought and he thought and he thought, and one day he came up with the Big Bang theory. See, the Big Bang idea started with a guy named Latimer. And the third thing he said to Eve was, if you eat off that tree, ye shall be as gods. And right there is where the whole idea of evolution got started. You know, we've been teaching the kids they're nothing but an animal, and today a lot of them act like animals. Started off like an amoeba, and we're evolving. We're getting bigger and better and stronger and smarter, and someday we're going to sail around the universe and discover new life forms like Star Trek. We tell them there's no such thing as right and wrong. There's no way to tell truth. Hey, if evolution is true, how do you tell right from wrong? If evolution is true, what is sin? I bet you didn't hear about what happened at Columbine. They were both very strong believers in evolution. Now think about it. If evolution is true, who am I? Well, if evolution is true, you are nothing important. You're just a piece of protoplasm that washed up on the beach. And you're not worth a thing. Actually, you're part of the problem because you're one of the polluters of the environment. So the more of you we can get rid of, the better. Where am I going when I die? Well, if evolution is true, you go to the grave and you're going to get recycled into a worm or a plant. Then in 1963, prayer was taken out of our school system. Anybody remember that with Madeleine Murray O'Hair? 1963 is when we saw a great rise in sexually transmitted diseases for kids 10 to 14 years of age. (1963) is when we began to see a rise in premarital sex for every age group. (1963) is when we saw a great rise in unwed birth rates for girls 10 to 14. Now, the birth rates are up 100%. Pregnancies are up over 500. The difference is being aborted. Right now, 1/3 of all the kids born in the hospitals are to a couple that's not married. The number of unmarried couples living together in adultery has increased 725%. Divorce rates, yeah, there we go. Divorce rates have increased radically since 1963. Violent crimes have gone up nearly 1,000%. SAT scores have dropped off radically since 1963. Teen suicide rate has gone crazy since 1963. Now, kids, listen. If you're in class and somebody says, the Bible teaches 6,000 years ago God made everything, 4,400 years ago there was a flood, 2,000 years ago Jesus came, and here we are today waiting for the Lord to come back in about 5 minutes. Raise your hand. Say, excuse me, were you there? They'll say, no, of course I wasn't there. And you could say, is this really part of science? I'd call that a fairy tale and put it in the garbage. Just not sure what to say about that. Wow. I never thought of that, Brother Hovind. At our ministry, we produce a lot of videotapes. We've made over 1 million videos now in 6 languages. They're not copyrighted. We encourage you to get our stuff and spread it.